Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is review time. Today we're going to look at the Soundcore by Anker Life p2i. Boy, do they make a lot of different types of headphones. You're not going to find these in store. More so, you're going to find these online, preferably on their website. But I actually got mine on Amazon because for some reason they sell so many different type of Ankers on Amazon rather than the actual website. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into this review and see if this is worth purchasing. All right, guys, first things first, let's go ahead and tear this box open. I'm going to go ahead and show you how they look like usual. You can see how the unboxing process goes. Now, of course, I did use them for myself so I can test them properly, but I managed to actually put them in the box back neatly. So that being said, you have your books right here, which it gives you your how-to, your instructions of how to use the actual headset, because these have physical buttons rather than touch controls, and I'll show you in a second. Right here, you have your micro USB. I say micro USB. So used to saying that because of Five Below products. Your USB-C right here. So if you're using a regular Samsung phone, a OnePlus device, whatever it is, they already use USB-C. So you don't have to actually use the one that comes inside of the case itself. Right here. Now, it does come with extra earbud tips. Let me go ahead and see. Sorry about that. And then show you these guys. Here we are, earbud tips, extra tips right here, just so you need to use them in case you lose them. But these are universally the same as most earbuds, so you can either just buy your own tips or put your own rubber tips on there if you want to. It will come pre-packaged like this. Of course, the wrap is a lot different. It's a lot better, actually, the way they did it, because it was manufacturally wrapped. I had to put this back on. So this is the headset right here itself, which, to be honest, the case, in my opinion, kind of looks dated, at least the feel. It's like this sleek, very, very sleek material that's going to leave a lot of spots. That's the one thing I noticed immediately. Other Anker products tend to have like a texturized feel to it. Now, let me go ahead and try to compare this in feel. If I can go ahead and grab another headset, if I even, you know what, I didn't bring them with me. That's fine. But this, if you look at the channel, and you normally look at the other headsets, most of them are fingerprint magnets, but this one in particular has like a glossy-ish type design. Not glossy, but like very shiny. So it's going to scratch very, very easily, especially if you have keys or change inside of your pocket. So be aware of that. On the bottom, you have your USB-C. So it just charges in the bottom. A lot of the other Anker brands are on the back and sit a certain way. This is how this sit. Of course, you have your sync button. Worst case scenario, if you need to go ahead and press this right here, it'll hold it and you're able to actually sync your headset. That's for people, like, let's say your headset is out of sync, one side to sync to the other side. You have the option to reset it that way. Now, as soon as you open them up, this is the headset right here. Very cool looking headset. Let me go ahead and peel these off. Forgot I didn't even take these off for review purposes. I had to stick everything back on. And I think I did a pretty good job of sticking everything back on. It was a pain in the ass, but I definitely did do that. Now, right here, this is how the headset fits. If you put it inside the case, I'm actually having trouble with that right now. Get out of there. Put it in the wrong way. Here you are, so it fits right in, starts charging. You have your other side right here. You're good to go. And if you just look at the earbud itself, I actually think it's a pretty cool looking earbud. Has a small stem. Excuse me. What I will say is that with this particular design right here, this part does fit a little bit more into your ear. And what this does is when it fits into your ear, as the wind blows, or you'll hear less background noise. So just kind of be aware of that. Where this actually doesn't have active noise cancellation or anything like that, but because the earbud fully fits into the groove of your ear right here, while this goes deeper for the actual sound, it does a better job of sound not leaking out. If you know what that means. What that basically means is some earbuds you can hear everything around you, like open ear designs where you can hear the music, or you might be able to hear your background more. With this particular headset, you shouldn't have that problem, that you can actually just drown out everything that's happening around you. But like I always say, always be safe when you do that, because typically you can get attacked. And that does happen in real life. I do have to put that disclaimer where if you're blasting music while you're walking down the street, it is a possibility that someone could try to attack you or rob you or something happens. So always be aware of your surroundings, and preferably just use one in the ear when you're outside, and two when you're in the comfort of your own home or a spot where you know it's safe. In addition to that, these do have the physical button. So if you press this, it's actually a very soft button. almost effortless to just go ahead and tap that. Very, very soft, very easy to use. So that is a cool feature. I've always been a fan of physical buttons. I prefer that over touch because you're guaranteed to always do it properly. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the next section and talk a little bit about battery life. So right here, we're going to take a look at the headset again, just so you can get an idea. But because of how black this headset is and how shiny it is, it's kind of hard to get a proper picture of it or proper video of it on camera. It's very, very shiny, as you can see. And if you touch it, it's going to scrape. But anyway, let me stop talking about that. You're getting a total of 28 hours out of this headset. That means 8 inside the actual headset itself, each ear. Obviously, you can use it in mono mode separately if you need to. So left ear, right ear, or together. You're getting 8 hours of battery life with this bad boy. 10-minute charge will give you 1 hour. So it does have quick charge or fast charge. Like I said, inside the case, you're getting 20. The headset itself is giving you 8. You have 2 equalizer modes. One is bass and one is podcast mode. Let me make sure I said that correctly because I know podcast mode is the second one. So yes, you do get 2 settings, and I'll show you that. Yep, bass and podcast. So what podcast does is it allows it where if you're listening to a particular video, or it'll focus more on audio. And that's actually good for people that are more concerned about audio and instead of bass. So if you're listening to something, bass is more so for music heads. The podcasting is more catered to audio. So if I'm watching the Joe Budden Network or Joe Rogan or something like that, the vocals would be a whole lot better. Very simple to switch. You can actually just hold the button or set your controls. Well, this doesn't actually have app support. Let me be correct about that when I say set the controls. The controls are set. It's set controls in the actual settings of the manual right here that allows you to do that. But anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about battery life. So that's pretty much it for battery life. The equalizer is very simple to use. This bad boy does have Bluetooth 5.2. Actually, let me re-record. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go right down to the specification list. It's not many. This doesn't have any app support, so you're not going to get updates or things like that. When you look at the price tag, I think I paid like $29 online for these. Amazon, it's either $29 or $39. I believe it was $29. And it's extremely affordable, and you're still getting that quality of sound. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the battery life, very fast. 8-hour playtime of battery life. 1 hour charge will give you literally 1 hour. I'm sorry, not 1 hour charge. 10 minutes of charge will give you 1 hour of playtime. So it does have fast charging, that quick charge feature, which is pretty cool. You get 20 hours inside the case itself, which isn't a bad looking case with the Anker brand, a new Anker brand on it. So you can definitely tell it's an updated product. You get 8 hours in the headset. Most Anker headphones get a minimum of 8 hours. It's only rare that some might get 5 hours or something like that. And that's just the Anker 3S, the Life 3S, whatever it's called. But these give you 8 hours. You do have 2 EQ modes. One is bass, one is podcast. So if you're more interested in listening to the vocals rather than the deep bass of music, you're going to use podcasting mode. If you're more interested in the EQ that deals with bass for your rocking, your hardcore rock, your rap, or just any genre in general, you're going to stick to bass. And there is a way to switch between it by pressing and holding the button. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, about the button functionality. It is shipped with Bluetooth 5.2, just so you know. Of course, USB-C we talked about earlier. But does ship with Bluetooth 5.2. So for those that have an issue with connectivity or using a newer phone or higher Bluetooth, this should theoretically be better for you. Now, I personally haven't had a problem with this whatsoever, but someone else might. So that's something to think about. And in addition to that, that is IPX5 rated, which means that splashing, water damage, things like that, rain will be perfectly fine. But if you plan on going deep sea diving with Aquaman, you are going to have a problem and you're going to break your headset. And that's that. You just be aware of it. It's not like it's some extreme dust rating where you can go and work on the subways and cut metal and iron. It's not that type of headset. If you're looking for something with a higher dust resistance and all that, you're going to come up a little bit more out of your pocket. And that's pretty much that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the next section where we are literally going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about functionality of the headset and how to actually sync it. Put that back in the case before I switch off. There we go. It is a little hassle to put it back in the case compared to other Anker products, but again, it's still not bad. All right, guys, let's talk about functionality. And what that means is basically what these controls actually do in this particular headset, so we all know what it is. So in order to change the EQ, which we talked about earlier, all you have to do is press the button 3 times. What it'll do is change the EQ setting between bass, and it'll change it between podcasting mode. Now, if you're using it in obviously 2 ears right here, as you can see, you'll tap it twice on the left ear to switch it to EQ. You'll tap it, that's if you have the left ear in. If you tap it 3 times in the right ear, it'll change to EQ, and you'll definitely hear a difference in sound, though other Anker products tend to have more EQ settings. But you have to remember, look at the price tag you're paying for, with the type of drivers you're getting in it, with the quality of sound and call quality, so that's something also to think about. If you press the button once, the physical button right here, let me go ahead and show you guys. If you press the physical button once, on the right side, it'll be volume up. If you press it on the left side, it'll be volume down. Very simple. If you're answering phone calls, you tap it once to answer, you tap it twice to hang up, and it looks like you hold it to actually just not answer the call at all. So if you want to send it to voicemail, hold the button for a couple seconds. It'll do that for you. If you want to answer the phone call, just tap it once. So this works well for Apple users because typically with Apple phones, which Apple phones are way different than Androids in this aspect, whenever you have a non-Apple, well, any Bluetooth hooked up to an Android device, when you tap the button or answer it from the phone, it automatically answers for you and it's connected to Bluetooth. But with Apple devices, if you answer with AirPods in, it'll answer. If you answer with non-AirPods, like through the phone, you have to hit the Bluetooth button and then tap which Bluetooth you want to use. Now, on the other hand, if you actually press it, the button, or answer headsets from the actual headset itself while connected to Apple devices, it'll go straight to the headset. So just be aware of that, because sometimes Apple people don't understand that, and it's not something that they explain. I had to experience it myself, so now you guys know that too. In addition to that, if you hold for about 2 seconds the right button, it will change songs. If you hold it the left one, it'll go back. So some music players you download on your own, and sometimes the music player, if you tap it once or if you hold it, it'll just restart the song. While other music players like what is it called? Let me go ahead and see what this thing is called. Power Amp. There we go. Power Amp. When you go backwards to the next song, to backwards play the song over again, instead it plays the previous song. So each music player acts entirely differently. Just be aware of that. In addition to, you have the mono mode settings right here, which we're not going to talk about. Self-explanatory if you decide to take a look and pause this, but these instructions come with every headset. So what I'm going to do is show you this right here for those that may buy this product used or it's given to you, so you have idea what the functionality is. And then I'll switch it over here real fast so you can go ahead and see that. So you can go ahead and pause this video and screenshot what you need in order to be able to just be like, all right, I have the instructions for those that don't necessarily know. And like we talked about earlier, if you hold this for about 10 seconds or so, it will reset the headset to put them into sync mode, so you're able to sync your headset so it's easy use and you'll be good to go. So with that being said, let's hop on to the last section, which is going to be the quality of music, how it sounds, and if this is worth purchasing. All right, guys, so the audio for this part might sound a little bit differently because I was using Galaxy Buds in the earlier part of the video, but I had to stop using them because I'm going to go ahead and sync this in real time with you guys. And then what I'm going to do is actually listen to music and give you an idea of how it sounds. Now, I did already do phone calls with my wife, like I said previously, and she's at work right now, so she's not the ideal person to call. But as soon as this syncs, we're going to talk about the music, how it sounds, and is it actually worth purchasing? Which I'm going to go ahead and say yes right now, but I'll give you the reasons why I do think that these are better than like the Life No Ease particularly. I'll give you a reason for that. Now, let's go ahead and go to settings like we always do, and we're going to try to sync this 2 ways. Now you may say, well, what do you mean? Well, some Anker earbuds, or some earbuds in general, you can sync them without taking them out of the case, while some require you to take it out of the case. So we're going to do it both ways to see if this is the former or the latter. Oh, light went out. Let me go ahead and turn that on. 1 second. There we go. So with that being said, here we are. I'm going to go ahead and go to Bluetooth. We're going to go ahead and try to sync it. So this is blinking. So you could just flip the case open. It'll automatically pair. Well, these are automatically paired between each other. You don't have to take them outside the case. That's more so the old-fashioned way. It's pairing right now. I'm going to go ahead and say allow to do that. And this bad boy is paired right now. We're good to go. It's already 70%. Well, it was 100% when I first originally used it, but it's at 70% now. So, but most of the headsets normally come between 50 to 70% normally, especially if you get them in stores. So I popped them inside my ears, They feel extremely, extremely comfortable. Like I said, these are very similar to the Life Note E's in terms of feeling, but let me be perfectly clear to you guys, and I don't want to lie to anybody. They are slightly bigger in the ear than the Life Note E's, where my wife put them in and she said, yeah, they're probably going to fall out. So for those that have extremely small ears, I'm still going to suggest the Life Note E's, but these are still pretty small. And they're actually cheaper than the Life Note E's. And one of the reasons why I suggest them over them is for one primary reason, because they're very similar in sound. It's because they have physical soft buttons. I'm not a fan of touch buttons. I've never been. I don't care for touch at all on AirPods. I don't care for touch on Galaxy Buds. I never liked touch buttons. It's not a definite thing, because there's times where your finger could be wet. There's times where you're on a train and you have to physically or figure out where the touch is. I don't like that nonsense. I just like physical buttons. That's just me, but I'm old fashioned. So now I'm going to listen to music. That's me dancing. All right. It sounds good. It sounds very, very good. The quality of music. All right. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you when it comes to music. I believe 100% that this has better quality sound than the Life Note E's. That's another reason to purchase these. Now, physically, I don't care for the case. Not that I care for the Life Note E cases either, but I don't care for this particular case because I have so many anchors and I'm used to them flipping open from the top. It's easier to deal with. When you put these inside the case, these holes right here are pretty dark. I know it doesn't seem like much, but even me looking at it from time to time, you got to fit it in. It fits just fine, if you're being honest. But if you don't fit it in properly, you might be fiddling with it, trying to turn it a little bit and things like that. When it comes to music, beautiful bass. I can honestly say that every time they come out with another Anker product, the bass is fire. I like these a whole lot. They remind me of the Life Note E3s, which are active noise cancellation headphones and quality. I like these. And these stay sealed in my ear better than a lot of the other Anker name brands where I don't have to constantly adjust it. Not that I do that anyway, but there's times where, you're riding a bike, or I ride a bike every day to work. And normally I use Galaxy Buds for that because it has the best call quality in most headsets, even in rain, sleet, not sleet, but rain, a lot of wind blowing. My wife can hear me just fine, so I normally stick to those. Those are my primary. But with these, I talk to her. She can hear me just fine. She can hear me on a train just fine, though granted you can hear some of the background noise. When you put these in your ear, immediately, what I'm going to tell you now, for those that love snug fits, these are snug. Meaning I didn't have to keep adjusting them every 15 minutes or so, because sometimes the left ear sounds louder than the right. And what that means is that the earbuds aren't fitted properly in your ears where it's even. So the music can sound really uneven in your ears and it could be uncomfortable. These sound great. The moment I pop them in my ear, I have no issue whatsoever. Music sounds perfectly fine. When it comes to phone calls, I don't have any issues at all. Normally I dive deeper into the music, but if you're used to the Anker brand, actually I will dive deeper into the music. I'll say phone call first and I'll dive back deeper into the music for those that want to know. Let me put this over here so you guys can see that too. So when it comes to the phone calls, it's typically the same. It's like the Life Note E's, where the Life Note E's to me had clearer sound. It sounds better on the receiving end when people hear you, and it sounds better. Well, that's not the receiving end. Well, that's the receiving end for them. Also on the receiving end for me, it just sounds much clearer. Now, what I will say is at times it can sound slightly muffled, not because the headset is bad, but because it's sealed in your ear. And because it's sealed in your ear and no sound releases, sometimes it can sound a little bass heavy when people talk to you. And that's normal for a lot of these types of earbuds. Now, if we're going back to music, like we were saying before, I don't want to make this a super long video. The Life Note E's were decent for music, but to me, like other brands like the Skull Candy Dimes and the, what are those called? The J-Lab Ergo Pops had similar sound in those categories. Now these, even though they're 10 millimeter drivers, it just sounds much richer. When I turned up the music initially, this was just a quick review, but I already did a review on the songs. When I turned up the music, there was no breakage in music. I didn't have any problems with nothing breaking up or anything like that. The highs were fine, the mids were fine. It did struggle a little bit when it came to like, what's the music we're talking about? Like classical music and things like that, because these are more bass heavy headphones than anything else. But when I say struggle, I mean like you hear a lot of bass. instruments, you heard it too, but they don't excel compared to the bass. But the quality of sound is still really, really good. And I think that anyone that purchases these will be perfectly fine with their purchase. I don't think for a second that you're going to regret it. It's just quality. It's quality all around the board. It's basically what Anker to me, like I always say, is what Skull Candy used to be without the pricing. Like Skull Candy had ungodly pricing, but they had really good sound. They still do. But they always had awful call quality. Anker has HD call quality on most of their headsets, like this one. It just sounds better. The quality is good. You have 8-hour battery life. You have 20 inside the case. You have quick charge. You don't have wireless charging. You don't have app support like through the actual Anker application for updates, but that you're not buying it for that. People that want app support and stuff, they're paying for more expensive headphones, and it's not that those headphones will last longer than these. It's just that this is for a different demographic. It's for someone that's looking for something that's still good without having to break the bank. And these I definitely suggest over the Life Note E's any day. The only issue you would have between this and the Life Note E, in my opinion, is just my opinion. Remember, everyone's different. Is that the ear fit right here is just a little bit bigger because of how big this piece is right here. It might fit a little bit more snug in your ear. You may not like that. But outside of that, I don't have any issues with it. I love this headset. It's definitely, I wish they made cases for it. I don't think that they do. But this is definitely a headset that I'm going to use to replace some of my other Ankers as my go-to for one of my PCs. I have a bunch of different computers, and though they have headsets, I do like using earbuds when I'm on Discord with the guys or certain things like that, because these still have quality of bass where it's deep enough where I can still play Call of Duty and other games and still hear footsteps and all that stuff. Granted, a regular headset is better for that. So I'm not telling you guys to replace these with an overhead headset. I'm not crazy. But what I'm saying is that if you have Bluetooth on your computer, it's not bad. If you have Bluetooth on a tablet, it's not bad at all. They excel very, very well, and I'm very excited that I bought this because I had them in my cart for like, I don't know, a month and a half, and I just didn't buy them. And then I finally did, reviewed them, and said, oh, wow, this is really good. So with that being said, they're about, I think they're, I don't know the regular price, but I know I paid like, I want to say like $30-something, $32.99 or something like that for them on Amazon. A lot of times they can be on sale for 20-something. It really depends, but these are very affordable. So before you go to Best Buy, before you go buy some JVC headphones, which are shit, I'm just going to be honest with you, they are, get these. Save yourself the trouble and get these. It is what it is. They're awesome. So anyway, like and subscribe. And like always, I will see you guys in the next video where we're going to talk about the Galaxy S21 FE 5G. Recently bought that for my wife. Actually going to have to re-record that video because I'm using an A53 5G right now for the camera. So if you like this camera with 60 frames, this is the A53 5G. I had to switch from my OnePlus N20 that you see right here because the camera on this did not do any 60 frames of anything. It was just 30 frames and the camera quality is worse. And I had to switch because I don't want the quality of my channel to decline because I'm using a average camera. So with that being said, you guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.